she's gone for 8 days. She's going to watch kids because her mom's got to go up to Oregon for her dad's house.
Wait.
Carlo, how are you?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm doing well. Doing well. All right, so I'm here. I got Jersey Mike here, and so anytime you want to start, my friend.
How you doing, Carl?
Yeah.
Riggs? I hear you're
Driggs.
Driggs. Riggs. That's from my Jersey. My father used to drive a truck. Anyway,
Is your name Mike
sir?
Jersey or Jersey Mike?
Whatever you like, sir. Just don't call me late for dinner.
All right, just don't call me sir.
Okay, all right. That's even better. Yeah, Carl, I like you already. Hey, I hear you're Cuban. You get like them Cuban women down there?
Oh, you know, the thing about Cuban women is that they're very dominating.
Wow,
I don't like to be dominated.
That sounds pretty good. They tie you up in the bedroom and all that good stuff?
I don't know about that, but they sure as hell feed you well.
Hey, that's a good thing, Carl. I like that already, man. That's a good thing.
Okay,
oh, my God. Okay, go ahead.
So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna basically just pretend that we just played one of the songs, and then I'm gonna say guess what, Jersey Mike, we got somebody who actually met and kind of inspired it along. I'll lead it into you, and then you can take over and talk as long as you want.
Yeah, how was it to party with all these old school bands and stuff? That must have been something of a lifetime. I'm just even talking to you is like an honor.
Dude, that was another lifetime in my life.
Wow. Wow.
It was totally another lifetime.
Do you remember the movie? There was a movie called Almost Famous about, I forget the,
yeah.
Was that
about the Rolling Stone writer?
Yeah,
The
exactly.
guy that became a Rolling Stone writer?
Yeah, that was some good stuff. Did that Hyatt Riot place really exist where all that partying went on?
Of course it did.
Wow.
Are you kidding? It was a way of life, man.
Wow, so you were there, Carl? That must have been something. You probably got marks on you from females that are so fucking famous. That's unbelievable.
Well, you know, I don't kiss and tell. I just tell little experiences that I've gone through.
Is that's pretty good, or is that from the good drugs that were back and then too? You can't remember who it was.
Well, you know, I mean,
we
I
don't talk
started.
about that.
Yeah, no. I started back in 1965 playing drums in a garage band here in Miami, Florida. I had just come from New York, so I became a drummer. You know,
Wow.
and I was my family was poor, so you know we couldn't afford for me to have a drum set or anything like that. So, you know, I was still going to school, and I had to take the bus to Miami Beach where I became a bellhop. I became a dishwasher. I became a busboy. I became a lot of, and making that little money, I was able to put away some bucks on the side. And then when I went to buy it, I was underage and I needed an adult to do the purchasing. So my uncle, God bless his soul, my uncle Felino, he went there and he gave his name and he did it for me. And I got my first set of drums, which was a Japanese set. It was probably Yamaha back then, but Japan wasn't that famous, you know.
Wow, that's wow. That's that. I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
That's just incredible because that's how most artists start out with nothing. They're poor, and you know they work their ass off, and then they become successful.
No, I know.
Good stuff. Wow.
I know. I mean, no, believe me, I am the most successful, unheard of person you'll ever meet.
I believe it, especially we're not talking on the phone, so it's a voice interaction. But other than that, that's pretty cool. That's just crazy, man. What part of New York are you from?
Manhattan.
Oh, okay. You guys dumped all your shit on us because I'm originally from North Jersey on our beaches and stuff for years. So we got the toxic waste state.
No, I was too young to dump shit around.
He's like 6 years old.
How old are you, man?
45.
Oh, jeez. No. I was already... You weren't even born yet.
Yeah, that's a good thing or not a good thing because You probably grew up around that time at a 54, one of the most iconic places I would have loved to have been to back then.
Well, you know what? In 1969, when Woodstock came out, I was in this band. I had become a singer for about, I don't know, was it a year and a half or so? And I was in this band called the Year 2000, you know?
Wow.
We were into that whole Bible thing that the world is going to end in the year 2000.
Wow.
Yeah, this is what happens when you're that young, you know? You start thinking all these crazy thoughts. But anyways, we put that band together, and we were in New York, you know, and we were being booked by Premier Talent, and we were managed by the Mafia. How's that?
How's that?
Wow.
There you go. Hey, we had everything in the world. We had all the girls, we had all the drugs, but we had all the clothes, but we had no money.
I was just going to say, the mob gets all that. That's just the way that life goes. They'll give you
They took all the money.
Yeah, they'll give you all the flash, Carl, but they take everything, you know? It's amazing.
Oh, I know. I know.
All right, so you got.
But anyways, you know, in 1973, I was in this band called KRAKKER. Okay, and we were doing our second album in Los Angeles. And we were being produced by Jimmy Miller.
Hey, Carlo, let's start recording the podcast right now because you can make that as part of the lead in to how you met David Bowie, okay? All right, so,
okay, go for it.
All right, so 3, 2, 1. Well, guess what, Jersey Mike? We got a guest who's calling in today who kind of actually met David Bowie a couple of times back in the 70s.
Met David Bowie?
Yes, it's my friend Carlo Driggs. He was lead singer of Paul Revere and the Raiders, had a band called KRAKKER, but he's on the phone. Carlo, are you there?
I am here, man.
Carlo Driggs,
I'm here.
How are you?
Wow, Carlo
I'm good.
Driggs.
I'm alive. That's a good thing at my age.
Wow, your age. You're young. You got all those women down there. You got all those women down there in Miami. I saw pictures of you from the satellite this week. You got a lot of young-looking girls.
Have you been looking at my site on Facebook?
So why don't you
haven't you?
So
no, I'm a happily married man now. You know, and I've been that way for the past 17 years now.
Wow.
And I have a little girl that's 12 years old that is in a magnet school, and she's taking up music, and next year she's taking up dance and drama, so she's kind of following in my footsteps, which is a very scary thing, you know. But,
wow,
you know, I have to let her do her own thing.
That's it, but at the same time, Carl, that's just awesome because you know what? That talent that you have needs to come out through other people and your family. That's even great. You can, you know, when them guys come at her, you can say, hey, listen, I'm going to make you an offer you can't refuse.
Oh, you sound like the boys from the old days.
So, Carlo, were you shocked when you heard of the passing of David Bowie?
You know, I got to be honest with you. I was watching the Golden Globes of all things on Sunday night, you know, and I was tired, you know, because I got to get up around 5:45 in the morning and start getting my daughter ready to go to school and everything else. But this particular morning, when I fell asleep, I forgot to turn off the TV. So it was still on NBC. Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden, it's like I'm hearing David Bowie is dead at the age of 69. I'm going, I'm having a dream? What the hell is going on? So, you know, I opened my eyes and I started looking at the TV, and there was his picture, and it said that he had been suffering for the past 18 months fighting cancer. I had no idea. I mean, it was a total shock.
Yeah, he kept his.
I was in total shock. Excuse me?
They kept it a secret from the fans.
I'm just speechless to that. And then I didn't know he married the model I'm on either.
Oh yeah, no, she's a gorgeous black girl, you know, and he's been married to her for a long time. He's got 2 kids. Wow. But I mean, you know, I've always admired David Bowie. He's always been very close to me, and he's always been a big inspiration to me as far as performing goes. His artistry is just beyond, you know. It's off the scale. I mean, the man is an innovator. He starts things and he reinvents himself and he keeps going and going and going. He's like the Energizer Bunny, you know. I could not imagine him dying. I mean, it's like, you know, you look at this man, and to me, he was like immortal. You know, he'll never die. But there he was, and he was totally gone. And you know, it was a hell of a day for me. It was a very sad day. I was very quiet. Everybody was posting on the internet and on Facebook and all that, and I just didn't have it in me to post anything, because for so many years I have been doing songs by David Bowie. I mean, I started doing David Bowie. I first heard his Honky Dory album back in 1969 when it first came out, which was, I don't know if it was 69 or 70, but I mean, it was early, and I was in this band Cracker at the time, you know, and we were in Chicago, and we were playing all over Chicago and the surrounding area. And I listened to that album day and night, and then he came out with Ziggy Stardust and the Spiders from Mars. And I went like, oh my God, I want to do stuff like this. Who is this man? You know, it's like, I was totally enamored with his whole image and his artistry of how he went about putting together stories. I mean, they weren't just songs. These things were stories. They were like plays, man. It's like movies, you know, because, I mean, if you can just, I don't know how many people have read his lyrics, but I mean, if you read the lyrics, it'll tell you everything about the song and where this man's head was, you know. His head was so far ahead of everybody else. While everybody was trying to come up with some cute little chant to get a hit on the radio, he was coming up with operas. I mean, I put him up there with the best, with Mozart, with Beethoven. I mean, so his passing was very difficult for me because, you know, as far as I was concerned, he was like a member of my family. And I only met him once. And that one time was not a very good meeting. I mean, it was a great meeting because I got to meet him, but you know, those were the days of the bisexuality and all that stuff. And Cracker was the opening act for the Rolling Stones tour in 1973. Wow, and we were up in Europe.
Was that their American tour?
No, that was the European tour, you know.
Oh, wow.
That's when they came out with Goat's Head Soup. And when we got there, I think it was late September. We got there late September, and we got into a big flat bed. We had, that's what they call like an apartment, you know. They call it a flat. But this flat had like 5-6 bedrooms, and we all had our own bedroom and one bedroom for our road manager. And you know, and it was just funny because, you know, we were all Cuban, first of all, okay, except for one guy that was an American guy from South Bend, Indiana. And his name was Chuck Francoeur, or still is, because he's still around.
Oh, wow, South Bend, Indiana. Wow.
Yeah, oh, yeah, no, he was a great keyboard player, great writer, great singer. So, you know, when we got there, you know, we were, I think it was like 5 days later, as you know, after we got rid of all the jet lag and everything, we were ushered into two Rolls-Royce limousines and taken to Rolling Stones Records, because the thing was is that the Rolling Stones were going to sign us to their label. We were going to be the first American act to be signed to Rolling Stones Records. So we signed that day and everything, so they put us in another room where it was a studio, and there was all these reporters and cameras are flashing, and they're asking us questions, you know. Needless to say, I mean, we never lost our being cynical, you know, because when we saw the write-ups, we read and we went, joyful cracker. What the hell does that mean, joyful cracker? You know, it's surprise cracker. It's like, what are we, like a bunch of firecrackers? What are we thinking?
Wow.
You know, but to make a long story short, we stayed in London for like about close to 6 months, and we played Wembley Pool like 3 nights in a row. Okay,
Wembley
3
Stadium?
nights in a row.
Wembley
Excuse
Stadium?
me?
Wembley Stadium?
Wembley Stadium.
Oh my
Wembley
God.
Stadium in London. Oh yeah, there was. I think the place held like 15,000, but it felt more like 100,000. When all you see out there is just little heads looking at you.
I have a question. I have a question for you,
yes,
Carl.
Go ahead.
How did that feel, being on stage and knowing that people are, coming to see you out of all those people? 15, 20,000. That's like 1 million people when you're up there. How does that feel? That's got to be like, I couldn't even imagine.
Well, let me just tell you this. Opening night with the Stones was in Vienna, Austria. Okay?
Wow.
And I can't even pronounce the name of the hall. But, we were used to playing to, 3,000 people, 5,000 people. That was like the enormity of it all, And when we got there, so we treated it the same. We were like, hey, nothing to it, man. Hey, what are you kidding? So after rehearsing for the tour and everything, we went to Austria, and we arrived in Vienna, and then we did some sightseeing, this and that, and the next night we had to open. So we were the opening act, and the next act was going to be Billy Preston. He was on the tour also, and then the Rolling Stones.
I didn't know that.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. These are old days, man. Good old days.
Wow. How was it to be around Mick Jagger, Keith Richards? I mean, you're looking at the probably most famous rock band of all time.
The core of the Stones.
Yeah. Well, Mick Jagger at the time was very. He was married to Bianca Jagger. Okay, he had just been married to her, and and of course, she was Spanish. She's from Nicaragua, I believe.
Wow.
And so she loved the whole idea that he had a Cuban American band.
Sweet.
And I ended up being her escort every night to backstage. She wanted me to escort her.
Wow.
And we used to talk a lot. But the thing with Mick Jagger back then, he was caught up in that the sexual revolution of the times.
Wow.
Like,
So,
then,
were you a hands-on type of guy, escort for that beautiful young lady?
no, I'll be honest with you. I was very respectful. Very respectful. And, okay, it was called the Wiener Staatshall. Wiener Staatshall.
Oh,
And it was a beautiful... Yeah, like Oscar Mayer. Now you know where they come from.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, that's pretty good. We found out where they're made, everybody. Boy,
And it was
Carl's just
a
a wealth
beautiful
of
indoor
information.
arena. It was a beautiful indoor arena that was packed to the max with like 16 to 20,000 people on our opening night for the Rolling Stones. And didn't think much about it as I went about my regular ways backstage, preparing for the show and warming up. And we used to open the show with this song called So Glad I Found You from KRAKKER Brand album. And I would have to start out by hitting this horrifically high note and falsetto, half voice falsetto. And I was pacing like I always do, backstage before a performance, not paying any attention to what was out there in the audience. And then when they gave us a curtain call of 5 minutes, we all lined up in the back of the curtain, right? Because they had this really red, velvety curtain. I mean, really, it's something old, man. It was like history there,
Wow.
And just waiting to be announced. And that's when I decided to take a peek at the crowd.
Wow.
Okay? And oh my God. I turned around and I said, have you guys looked out there yet? And I froze on my own words,
Wow.
And that's when Artie Casado and Carlos Garcia was the bass player, studying my reaction, said to me, come on, brother, you got this. We were born for this shit. Come on. So it was like very scary, There was so many people. Oh my God! And it was frightening. And when I heard the announcer, and I couldn't understand him until I heard him say "cracker," because what? Oh, cracker. And it was like, okay, man, that's our cue. And we all ran up on stage. I closed my eyes and I hit that freaking note from hell. And I heard the band come in, following me, come to life. And I felt like an ancient warrior leading the charge in a great battle in history. I mean,
wow,
the biggest adrenaline rush I have ever had in my entire life. The fear was gone. It left me as soon as I hit that note. And, all the cockiness and the strength, it all came back. And it was an explosive 25 minutes. That's all we were allowed. 25 minutes. That was our opening night in Vienna. Now, when we got back to London, we were doing 3 nights in a row at Wembley Pool. Oh. And, I really didn't pay that much attention to Wembley Pool. What the hell? What? I'm thinking, there's a swimming pool in here.
Wow.
But, Mick Jagger was very, how can I say, he was a very obscure kind of guy. He wouldn't just talk to anybody. He was very much to himself, with all his makeup and all that, and he would laugh every once in a while with one of the guys. Now, Keith Richards was the total opposite. He was very outgoing and very, very cool.
So Mick Jagger started doing the makeup thing before Ziggy Stardust brought in, kind of.
I don't know who started first, to be honest with you, because David Bowie was... David Bowie, have you ever seen that video of him singing with Bing Crosby?
Yes.
The little drummer boy?
Very different.
That's how far back he goes,
Wow.
So, he was into show business way before. He was going to take a different road to show business. I think he wanted to be more of a writer and performer, as far as being an actor, because he was a great actor. He really was.
He was, yes.
He was an incredible actor. And the way he did things, it was always about the art. Even way back then, he changed his whole look. I met him that night, opening night in Wembley Pool.
Oh,
okay? And he was there, and him and Mick Jagger were all chummy, And, and they were kissing each other and this and that. And I'm going, oh, man.
I think we got we got a bomb here.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, what's going on over here?
Wow.
What's the story?
I think the story is one like to hit and one like to receive or pitch. You know what I mean? What are you going to do?
Yeah, they like both things,
Yeah.
And
so
it was...
when meeting David Bowie, did you go up and shake hands with him or say, how do you do? My name
Yeah, we all did. We all shook hands with him. And that was back then when he used to look like Woody Woodpecker. That's what we called him.
Wow.
We said, oh my God, it's Woody Woodpecker in person,
Wow.
He had all the makeup and his hair was like, fire red, okay?
Really?
And it had like this thing it was, it looked, we just saw Woody Woodpecker,
Wow.
So, so after the whole night, after we played and all that, he complimented us and said, quite nice. I quite enjoyed that.
Wow.
And we went, does that mean he liked it? I don't know. It is quiet, It's quiet.
So this is amazing. On our Shiny Squirrel podcast, we have a man who actually met, worked, was complimented by David Bowie. Life doesn't get sweeter than that for guys in Vegas like us.
I'd say so, yes.
I
This is
don't know if what I'm going to tell you next is going to be too sweet, but...
Well, I think now would be a good time just to make the announcement that Carl Driggs will be becoming part of our network in about every 2 weeks. He's going to be doing a podcast, phoning in his own called Driggs After Dark.
Well, I'll tell
There
you
you
what.
go, baby.
I'd like to hang out with Mr. Carl Driggs after dark just to get his second and thirds from the old days. Some of them older women can come my way. Hey, Jersey Mike.
Hey, you like tequila? You like tequila? We can hang out, baby.
Oh, yeah, I like tequila. The Spanish women will kill you, but you know what? Like a good Cuban cigar, a good Cuban sandwich, and now the fact that the U.S. is open to all trades with Cuba, life is good now. It should have never happened as long as it did, but at least everything's open. And we have some good stuff going on.
It is. You know, it's all politics, man. Politics is so much crap in politics. You know, who wants to make a mark? Who wants to be put down in history as the first man to do this? And everybody, I'm the first that did this, and I'm the first that did that. And, you know, it's like, what the hell? Who cares? Who cares who the first was, you know?
Exactly.
If you were the first, believe me, your name is going to be all over, you know?
Well,
there's no need for you to say, I was the first.
Hey, if Jersey Mike gets a shot at getting a run at L.A., which I'm hoping for one day, Carl, I don't know if I'll be the first, but I won't be the last. I know that.
Believe me, I've been to L.A., I've been to Hollywood. It's not what it's all prepped up to be.
Oh, after hearing your party stories, yeah, I don't know about that one. You just you don't kiss and tell. You're like a gentleman.
Well, Carlo, can you email me those files of you doing back in your days with the news of singing?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I just haven't had time to put it down on the software and even out some of the volumes because you know it was a rehearsal. The funny thing is. My old drummer and my very best friend, who was with me from KRACKER and beyond, Artie Casado, he had this tape of us when we had this band called Driggs in the News, okay, and that was in 1978, and it was the first time in my entire career that I got a chance to actually do what I wanted to do live on stage. And I chose to do David Bowie because, you know, no matter what. And he sent me a rehearsal tape that we did. And the song is started out with Space Oddity.
Oh, wow.
And it went through changes. And the last song of the three of the medley was Suffragette City.
Oh, wow.
You know, and I mean, this is something that you did in 1978. You know, it's like when you, back in those days, you would have one of them little tape recorders, you know, that cassette tape recorders, and you would press play and record and leave it, you know, everything went in there, you know.
Well, even if you don't have time.
It's something that I used for the longest time when I was writing songs, you know, and I would sit at the piano and I would turn it on and do this. This is with a whole band, so, you know, the volumes kind of, you know, fluctuates here and there. So I kind of want to straighten it out before I let anybody hear it.
Well,
but
I mean,
but the funny thing is that Artie played it for a couple of people. Just prior to David Bowie passing away, and they all said, "Oh my God, where did you get that bootleg of David Bowie live?"
Wow.
You know, and he said, "There's not a bootleg. That's my friend Carl Driggs. You know, he was doing David Bowie back in 1978. Back in '78, get out of here, man! That's a bootleg thing live." It's like, no, it's not. You know, so.
Wow.
And as I listened to it, I went, "Oh my God, listen to this."
Well, if you can email me the file, I'd just like to use like a small 15-second snippet of it, of the good stuff.
Okay, no, yeah. I mean, by the time it gets to changes, it's really good. The beginning of Space Oddity, I mean, it was a whole production, okay? Wayne, you've seen those pictures of me on Facebook, right? That
Yes.
the candy store sent me?
Yes.
And all that, you know, and I had the tight clothes or like zebra outfit.
Yes.
Well, I mean, that's when I was doing it. That was the band.
Wow.
You know, and it just blew my mind. I played it for my wife. She goes, I didn't know we had that David Bowie song there. I'm going, it's not David Bowie, it's me.
Yeah, even if you don't have
no,
time
it's
to,
not.
even if you don't have time to clean up the track, just email it over in its raw format, and I'll clean it up as well.
Okay, I will. I will. I promise.
Wow.
I've just been busy today, Wayne. I haven't had time for anything.
Yeah, go ahead and just shoot it over email when you get a second, okay?
Okay, no problem.
I would love to put a bit of it into this podcast.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay.
This is like the Earth stop today. David Bowie dies, and we talk to Carlo Driggs. I mean, doesn't get better for two guys, nerdlings in Vegas, does it?
That's it. Nope, doesn't get better than that.
Come on, guys! You're in Las Vegas. Come on, man. Give me a break.
Wait a second. I gotta say this. Not unless Madonna comes. I'm a big Madonna fan. Have you ever had the pleasure?
Oh, I
of meeting
love
her?
Madonna. I'll tell you something. If it wasn't for David Bowie, Lady Gaga, Madonna, Annie Lennox, the list just goes on and on and on and on. That man has inspired for them to do live performances in a very artistic way,
Wow.
I mean, the man was a true artist. I mean, I just took a look at his video, Lazarus. It's chilling. It is chilling. Because even in his deathbed, he is saying goodbye to everybody.
Yeah, his album did go to #1. Black Star did.
Wow.
Oh, it better.
Wow.
It better. I mean, why is it that you have to die in order to be so recognized, It's like, come on. The man has been there alive in front of you forever and a day, It's like now I'm watching all these, everybody's jumping on the bandwagon,
Yeah.
It's like, now our band is going to do a tribute to Bowie. Really? Why didn't you do this before, It's like, when he was alive.
Yeah,
give him the respect.
Do the tribute when he's alive.
No, you're right, because they're doing it to Michael Jackson now. They're doing it to Elvis for the last 30-something years. They do it to everybody.
I know they've been doing it to Elvis. Maybe it was like the first one they started to do it for, But, I understood that more than anything because it was people that loved Elvis, and they were doing it because they wanted to look like Elvis. They've always wanted to be like Elvis, so they went that way, But all of a sudden, you got all these little rock bands that go, we're going to do a tribute to Bowie, and they all cut their hair and they color their hair like Ziggy Stardust, and it's like, no, come on, guys, please don't do that. Don't do that. I mean, the man's body is not quite cold yet, And you're doing this, It's like, give the man his respect. Give him this,
Exactly. Let like a decade pass and then do it.
Yeah. I mean, David Bowie, to me, has been the biggest inspiration as a singer, as an actor, as a performer that could have possibly ever had, It started with Wayne Cochran down here in Miami. I don't know if you ever heard of Wayne Cochran, have you?
Yes.
Okay, Wayne Cochran was, Blue Eye Soul, man. I mean, he was incredible frontman, and I learned from him first. That's who I learned from, And I was like 16 years old when I went to see him. I couldn't get in. No, I was about 17, but I couldn't get in because I was underage. So we were going to leave, it's like, the man at the door said we can't get in. So, let's go to the back where the stage is and listen to him, because all we could do was listen to him. We couldn't see him, but we could listen to him. So as we had our ears to the door, the door burst wide open, and you hear this man coming out and say, "What the hell are you kids doing out here?" And, we were looking, I swear to God, we were looking at this 6'5" giant of a man with platinum hair and a pompadour as high as it can go, which made him look even bigger.
Wow.
And this bright shark skin green suit, And then he was wearing heels on top of it, so he was even taller.
Wow.
He was like a giant, And, my friends, they didn't speak very good English, so it was up to me. Because I've always been able to speak good English without the accent, and I said, well, sir, we've admired you for so long, and I'm an aspiring singer. I want to learn from the very best, and the word around town is you are the very best. You're the one. If anybody wants to learn anything, you're the man to listen to because you are the best. You're number one. Blah, 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 blah. And I just went on, just telling him how I felt about him, and he just stood there silently. And he had these steel gray eyes,
wow.
and they just peered into my soul. Wow. He just peered into me and he said, and all of a sudden, he had a smile on his face, and he said, well, hell, that's all right then.
Wow.
Well,
Come
Carlo,
on back with me. Follow me, boys.
Carlo.
So we all followed him backstage, met the boys in the band.
Nice.
He introduced us as up-and-coming musicians and singers, and, it was like the night of my life, Then he took us to the stage and he put us to the side and he says, "Now, you boys sit here and don't frickin' move, you understand?" Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Whatever you say, sir.
Now, for all you people out there hearing our podcast, this is some real good, down-to-earth shit you're not going to hear anywhere else. This is rock and roll history you're hearing about.
This is.
This is it. This is the big time, This is Carl Driggs we're talking about, Paul Revere and the Raiders. Also had a band, KRAKKER.
Foxy.
Was involved with a lot of good stuff. He knows a lot of people. So buy his stuff, buy his albums. He's got new stuff coming out. Listen to his podcast. And let's pop this man back to where he should be on the Walk of Fame in Hollywood.
Well, you know what? I mean, this next Wednesday, I start recording again. I'm recording a new rock album, which will be my first since, oh my God, 2007. 2007.
Wow.
That was the last time I recorded anything.
Wow.
So, and these are all my original songs that I've had here. And some of them were written by a good friend of mine, Dick Wagner, who also knew David Bowie and Lou Reed.
Dick Wagner
we both did.
Just for clarification, Dick Wagner is Alice Cooper's right-hand man and guitar player and songwriter.
That's right, he was. He also wrote Only Women Bleed that Alice Cooper made into a hit.
Wow.
But I'll be doing a couple of his songs that he wrote specially for me way back in 1979.
Wow.
That's when it was. So it's gonna be interesting, man.
It's an exciting
but
time.
A lot of these songs that I have,
wow.
They're like kind of Bowie-ish, Beatles-ish, and Rolling Stones. It's like a mixture of all three into one.
It's a love child of unknown yet.
Yeah, I like that. Love child of unknown. As long as you keep your dick in your pants and you don't get a love child.
Hey, can you say dick on the radio?
On a podcast, you can.
On podcast, you can. Can you say the F-bomb?
Yes, you can.
I've been holding it back, baby. I'm a musician. You know how I talk, Wayne.
Yes, I do.
But I don't want to sound like I'm badly spoken. That man has no education. Look at the way he's speaking.
I think we're going to have to post this whole interview on as a single standalone podcast as well.
Oh, 100%.
That'd be great. I mean, what the hell am I going to talk about? I got a lot of things to talk about. I always have a lot of things.
That's why
I have my political views, although I hate politics. I don't like politics. I just don't like politics.
Let me ask you a question. Why don't you run for governor of Florida? You'd probably be a first-time winner.
Oh, well, that would be a beautiful thing,
Until they start getting their backgrounds.
Yeah, until he sees who the hell I am, and then he goes,
No, wait a second.
No.
With some of the other politicians, you'd probably be a bright, shining star. You know what I mean? People would love you. You're at least honest about it. A lot of these people like to keep their stuff dead skeletons in the closet.
Well, I know. Speaking of being in the closet,
Well, Carlo, I want to thank you for calling in and putting this little segment in for that we're going to put into the David Bowie Uniquities.
Hey, absolutely. Jersey Mike, anytime.
Carl, it was great talking to you. Hopefully one day I get the pleasure of meeting you because you sound like a very awesome individual. And people, buy his stuff. Carl Driggs.
On Facebook.
On Facebook, buy the man's stuff. The man is a cult classic hero. The guy knows Bowie, met Bowie. The guy's just endless. Just buy his stuff. That's it.
Thank you, my friend. Thank you.
Not a problem. It was nice talking to you. And you know, Wayne.
Great talking to you.
Thank you.
And next time we meet, if we do meet, we're going to have some tequila shots and some Cuban cigars.
That works for me. That sounds good.
You got it, baby.
Cuba, I'll tell you what. Maybe they should have you over there as the president. Give you, some stuff over there, right?
I don't know. I mean, I would love. I haven't been to Cuba since I came to this country when I was 7. I had to return when I was 8, and then I came back at the age of 8. So since the age of 8, I have not seen Cuba. Except for pictures and movies. And and usually the movies were all filmed, but Puerto Rico looks very much like Cuba. So.
Oh wow.
But it'll never be Cuba.
I can just imagine. One other very Cuban famous singer, Gloria Estefan.
Oh, yeah.
She's from there, too. So that's like, you guys got some very awesome people that come out of that area. Kind of like Jersey.
No, I know.
Jersey, they say, is like, the toxic vegetable weight zone, but we got a lot of good people out of there, too.
You sure? I mean, Bruce Springsteen, just to mention one.
Yeah, got some actresses, Susan Sarandon, you got Bon Jovi, I don't even know. It never ends. I can get into this all day, but we don't have time.
Hey, let me tell you something. I've been to Asbury Park. I had a real good time over there. Really?
I could imagine. The Stone Pony.
But we ain't going to talk about that.
No, Carl.
We'll leave that for another night.
Yeah, that sounds like a tequila shot night.
Yes, sir.
That sounds very good.
All right, I'll talk to you soon, Carlo, and I will wait and watch for those files then, okay?
Okay, my friend.
All right, thank
you. You guys take care, okay?
Thank you very much. Be safe.
Good night.
Thank you. You too.
Good night.
Good night.